So here's the thing, when you're a K-pop fan, you know how complicated and layered this world really is. It's not just about the music. It's about culture, influence, and respect. And recently, something TXT Taehyun said just lit the internet on fire. Not in the chaotic scandal way. More like the type that makes people stop scrolling and actually think. You know, like, finally someone said it. During a recent interview, Taehyun sat down and opened up about his journey, from training days to debut, and what really shaped their identity as a group. And in the middle of all the usual chit-chat, he drops this line that just hits different. He says, "The company is based on black music. That's it. Short, honest, real." He was talking about how they mainly practiced hip-hop and R&B in the early days, and that their roots as trainees were grounded in black musical influence. And yeah, just that simple sentence started a wildfire on the timeline. A screenshot of the moment went viral, getting over 5K likes. But what followed? A storm? Some people were quick to comment that it was the bare minimum, accusing him of pandering or doing it for clout, the typical cycle of dragging idols who speak on race or culture. But here's the twist. A lot of fans jumped in not to defend blindly, but to point out the difference between acknowledgement and appropriation. Because let's be honest, how many idols are out here wearing dreads, mimicking black slang, dancing to hip-hop beats, without ever once giving credit to the culture? And here comes Taehyun casually and respectfully naming it. Not for performance, not as a campaign, just part of his story. That hit fans different, because for once, someone didn't just use the influence but acknowledge the people behind it. It's rare in K-pop, and fans know it. The argument became deeper. If this is really just the bare minimum, why are so few idols doing it? It's giving self-awareness. It's giving "we see you." And the most surprising part, Taehyun didn't double down, didn't backtrack, didn't make it about himself. He just let the truth land and moved on, like it was normal. And maybe that's what shook people most. Because in an industry where silence is often safer, his calm acknowledgement stood out louder than a viral dance challenge ever could in fan spaces. The convo got deeper. People started breaking down the way K-pop borrows from black culture, not just in music, but in styling, language, aesthetics. And suddenly, it wasn't just about TXT or Taehyun. It became a broader reflection of what fans want from the industry: respect, honesty, recognition, not perfection, just awareness. And honestly, whether you stand TXT or not, you can't deny that Taehyun sparked a moment. A necessary one. One that made people pause the streaming for a second and say, "Wait, this matters." And if you ask me, that's more than the bare minimum. That's baseline leadership. Okay, let's paint the scene real quick. Imagine this. You're at a chic, low-key Seoul restaurant, the kind of place with private rooms, soft lighting, and expensive cutlery that clinks too loudly when you're nervous. You're just trying to enjoy your night, chill with a friend, maybe talk about the latest episode of I Live Alone, and then suddenly you become the tea. That's exactly what happened to SHINee Key. Now, if you know anything about Key, you know he's got ears sharper than his jawline, and a personality that could slice steel with sarcasm. But even Key couldn't have prepared for what went down that night. He was just existing, vibing in one of those little cozy rooms, when he started hearing his own name echoing through the walls. That alone would make anyone freeze. Like, wait, am I being summoned or slandered? Apparently, the room next door was full of 20-something women having a lil celebration. Things were cute until they weren't. The energy flipped when his name came up in conversation. First, one of the girls gushed about how much she loved him. She was going all in. He's so stylish, so confident. His personality is just chef's kiss. You can imagine Key hearing that and smiling to himself like, as they should. But then, boom, plot twist. Another woman wasn't having any of it. She came in hot, saying, "He's so rude. He's not even that funny." And suddenly, the sweet convo turned into a heated Key debate in full Dolby surround sound. From the other room, while he was literally just sitting there listening in real time. Now here's where it gets absolutely K-drama level hilarious. Key and his friend, instead of interrupting, decided to listen in, for 40 minutes. He said they were both at the edge of their seats, like they were watching an episode of their own show. Hearing these two girls go back and forth. He's perfect. He's awful. No. He's iconic. No. He's arrogant. Like, ma'am, do you even realize the man is to walls away from you holding his chopsticks in stunned silence? The best part, he didn't confront them, didn't clap back, didn't even clear his throat to make them stop. He just sat there sipping his tea literally and let it play out. And that's icon behavior. Because let's be real, most of us would have busted into that room like, "Hi. Yes, the rude icon is right here. Continue." But Key? He ate that up in silence and walked out like a legend. The story made fans laugh, but also reminded everyone how weirdly casual hate can be. Like, imagine you're just existing, minding your own business, and someone's in a full-on verbal debate about your personality. And the internet ate it up. Key was praised not just for his self-restraint, but for being so chill about the whole thing. Fans said this is exactly why we love him: unbothered, classy, and always tuned into the drama. And honestly, there's something poetic about it. A man who has stood the test of time in K-pop, still dealing with whispers in restaurants. But instead of letting it shake him, he treats it like entertainment. That's the kind of thick skin, confidence, and experience that only a second-gen legend can flex. Okay. Deep breath. Carrots, because this one had the entire fandom collectively blinking in disbelief like, did that fan really just say that? Yeah, we need to talk about what happened to Vernon at a recent fansin. Because honestly, it wasn't cute, it wasn't funny, and the internet is not letting this one slide. So imagine this, you finally get your golden moment at a fansin, face-to-face with Vernon, the chillest, most introspective, low-key hilarious member of 17. And this is what you choose to ask him. A question that literally reads, rumors about you eating SHT, but you didn't. VS. No one knows, but you did. Let that sink in for a second. Vernon reads it out loud, clearly thrown off, but trying to roll with it. He picks the first option, answers like a good sport, and moves on. Doesn't make a big deal of it, keeps it moving. And even after that awkwardness, the next prompt says, say something sweet. And what does this man say? I love you. Like, the patience, the poise, the unbothered king behavior. He gave grace when none was deserved. But let's be real here, fans watching the clip weren't having it. One carrot reposted it with the energy of what the actual FCK did I just witness. Asterisk, and the sentiment spread fast. Suddenly, timelines were flooded with fans expressing a shared frustration. Not just about this moment, but about a pattern. Because it's not the first time Vernon's had to deal with, let's call it, unhinged energy at fan signs. Fans pointed out that he consistently gets the weirdest, most disrespectful prompts, as if people forget he's a real human being, not a meme generator or a reaction video. And that's where the debate really started to heat up. Because here's the thing, Vernon is a brilliant artist, a deep thinker, a music lover, someone who's passionate about film, culture, language, all the things that would make for an actual meaningful conversation if people just asked. But instead, we get this, an offensive joke disguised as a quirky icebreaker. People were angry, and rightfully so. They asked, why waste this chance? Why not talk about his lyrics, his creative process, his favorite books? There are literally endless ways to connect with Vernon that don't involve asking if he eats literal garbage like, how did we get here? This isn't about being overly sensitive. It's about respecting boundaries. Fan signs are supposed to be a moment of connection, where idols and fans share something genuine, not where idols have to tolerate nonsense because someone wants a viral moment or thinks their offbeat humor is cute. And of course, the bigger conversation started bubbling again, the ethics of fan signs. When does it go too far? Are fans getting too casual, too familiar, too comfortable pushing those limits just to stand out? The lines are blurring, and moments like this make it painfully obvious. But despite the ridiculousness, Vernon handled it with his signature calm, no shade, no clap back, just pure class. And that's what hurts more, that someone could treat him so casually, and he still answered with love. It shows how much these idols put up with just to protect the vibe for everyone else. So next time you get the chance to talk to someone like Vernon, maybe, just maybe, don't go for the shock factor. Go for substance, because trust me, the internet never forgets. And this time, it remembered for all the wrong reasons. There are moments in K-pop that feel like emotional landmines. You think you're over it, you've moved on, and then boom, someone speaks up, and suddenly, you're back in 2024, holding your breath. That's exactly what happened when Seunghan, now rebranded as Seunghan, broke the silence and finally spoke about RIIZE. In an interview, let's rewind a bit. Seunghan leaving RIIZE wasn't just any departure. It was one of those moments that split the fandom in half. Some people were heartbroken, others were bitter. The whole thing felt too fast, too raw, too unfinished, and since then, silence. No mentions, no breadcrumbs, no closure. Until now. Fast forward to July 31st, Seunghan drops Waste No Time with EXO-UL, launching his official solo debut. A new name, a new era, and honestly, a whole new energy. The song itself, emotional, sharp, catchy, but it wasn't just the music that had fans clutching their pearls. It was what he said next. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. Yes, that global platform, he was asked a bold, straight-up question, do you have any wishes for RIIZE? And everyone held their breath. Because let's be honest, he could have dodged it, could have brushed it off with a vague, PR-trained answer like I'm just focused on the future, but no. Seunghan looked that question in the face and spoke from the heart. He said, I know that RIIZE is doing so well, and I'm rooting for them as a fellow artist. I hope they stay healthy and well. Since I'm also preparing my new launch as a soloist, I hope people stay tuned. I'm really going to pour my heart and soul into this. That hit different because for the first time since the split, it wasn't silence, it wasn't shade, it was respect, mutual recognition. And for fans who've been torn between standing RIIZE OT6 and feeling betrayed, this felt like maybe a moment of healing. The internet, of course, exploded. Some fans were shook that he even addressed it. Others praised his maturity, the fact that he could show love to his former group, while still standing confidently in his new path. And let's be real, it takes guts. It takes grace. After everything, he could have stayed quiet forever. But he didn't, and that's where it gets deep. Because this isn't just about fan service or PR. This is about identity, artistry, and growth. Seunghan's not just some guy who left a group and disappeared. He's evolving. He's owning his story, taking control of his narrative, and doing it without burning bridges. Some RIIZE fans, especially the OT6 loyalists, took this moment to reflect. Like, maybe the hate isn't serving anyone anymore. Maybe it's time to let go of the grudge and just support who you want, how you want. No dragging, no guilt tripping, just respect. And while some netizens still side-eye the whole situation because let's face it, K-pop stans have the memory of an elephant and the drama appetite of a Netflix writer's room, there's no denying Seunghan is stepping into his next chapter with clarity, and that deserves attention. So whether you ride for RIIZE or you're curious about Seunghan's solo journey, this moment matters. It marks a turning point, not just for him, but for how we talk about exits, rebrands, and moving forward in the K-pop world. Because not every departure has to be a war. Sometimes it can just be a new beginning, and honestly, that's the kind of energy we need more of. Okay, we've had debates, drama, awkward fan signs, and emotional interviews. But now it's time to take a deep breath and say it with me, who's cutting onions. Because what ATEEZ Wooyoung did at their Tacoma stop, that wasn't just cute, that was soul-level sweet. Like the kind of wholesome moment that makes you tear up unexpectedly at 2 a.m. on Stan Twitter. Yep, that level. So picture this, it's the send-off portion of ATEEZ's 2025 World Tour in your fantasy. Fans are smiling, crying, waving like their lives depend on it. The energy is high, emotions are flowing, and then suddenly, Wooyoung notices something, not a fan sign, not a light stick, but a service dog, and what does he do? He doesn't just walk by. He doesn't do the idle nod and keep moving. No. He stops, he kneels. He pets the dog gently, like he's known it for years. He interacts with it with this calm, sweet expression that's just so soft. It makes your heart clench, the kind of look that says, I see you, and I appreciate you. And fans, they lost it. The moment was captured on video by the dog's owner, who, by the way, was kind enough to share the clip and explain that the dog, named Felix, yes, iconic name, is a trained service animal, not just a cute companion, but a lifeline, a guardian, someone's emotional support during what can be overwhelming environments. And the way Wooyoung approached that moment with zero hesitation, full respect, and just natural affection was a reminder of why he's so beloved, not just because he can hit those sharp choreo moves or wreck us with one glance on stage, but because of who he is when the spotlight softens, when he's just a human connecting with another soul, even a furry one. What really hit fans hardest was the authenticity of it all. It wasn't for a camera. It wasn't performative. It was just Wooyoung being Wooyoung, kind, gentle, present, the kind of person who doesn't overlook the quiet moments. And in a world where everything is content, where every second is curated, that kind of raw goodness stands out like gold. The video, of course, went viral. Fans across all fandoms, not just ATEEZ, were retweeting it like, okay, maybe I'm soft standing now. People shared their own stories of service dogs and how rare it is to see. Idols acknowledge them with such genuine warmth. It opened up conversations about accessibility at concerts, emotional support, and why little gestures aren't so little after all. And the fan, they were glowing, not just because their bias interacted with them, but because he interacted with Felix. He saw the full picture. And for anyone who's ever depended on a service animal, that moment felt like quiet validation. Like, we matter too. Our experience counts to. So yeah, this wasn't just a viral moment. It was a heartprint, a little slice of kindness that reminded everyone what truly matters: connection, compassion, and the power of seeing each other fully. And Wooyoung, he didn't just win hearts that night, he expanded them. You know how sometimes idols drop a line so real, so raw, so unfiltered that the entire fandom just freezes. Like, did he just say that? And then 5 seconds later, we're all screaming, crying, reposting like our lives depend on it. Yeah, that's exactly what happened when Stray Kids Bangchan hit Instagram. Live and let it all out, no sugar, no filter, just truth. It all started with one little comment: stop putting stays in their place. That one sentence sparked a wildfire. Because in K-pop, let's be real, most idols stay quiet when fans cross the line. They play nice. They keep it polite, even when fans act out. But not Bangchan, not this time. He read that comment and didn't flinch, didn't soften it. He just leaned in and said what most leaders wish they could say but never do. You respect me, I will respect you. Simple as that. Okay, simple. Boom, let's unpack this for a second. Because what Bangchan did wasn't just a spicy clapback. It was a full-on leadership moment. He explained it clearly. If you're coming to concerts, breaking rules, disrespecting staff, and then expecting your fave to defend you when consequences hit, that's not how this works. That's not love. That's entitlement. And he's not here for it. He even said the words that every fandom needed to hear. It really pisses me off, to be honest. Like, yes, he said what he said, and it wasn't out of hate. It was out of care. Because real connection means accountability. What made this even more iconic? He didn't yell. He didn't go off the rails. He just calmly dropped facts, like someone who knows exactly what he's worth, and knows that being an idol doesn't mean being a doormat. And fans actually respected it. Netizens flooded the comments with support, calling him brave, honest, and a real one for standing his ground. Because here's the thing, idol culture can get weird. The parasocial lines blur fast. One minute you're supporting your fave, the next you're feeling entitled to their personal space. Their silence, their forgiveness, even when you're in the wrong. And Bangchan, he's drawing the line in neon red. But here's what hits hardest. He's not scolding fans from a distance. He's speaking as someone who deeply cares about stays, who sees them as real people, not numbers. And when he calls us out, it's because he believes we're capable of better. That's real love. And honestly, that's the kind of leader K-pop needs more of. Not just pretty smiles and fan service, but someone who's not afraid to hold up a mirror and say, do better because I believe in you. And that's not hate, that's trust. So yeah, if you're going to come to a Stray Kids show, break the rules, make a mess, and expect to be saved, Bangchan's already told you he can't save you. But if you show up with love, respect, and vibes, he'll give you the world right back. Simple as that.